I got to ask this. Was there any talk at all about the Redskins trying to move RG3?
No, not at all. It's funny. I'm here at practice right now. All the media, other media have gone in the locker room. We just came from Jay Spresser, and the only guy out on the field right now who's done this every day this year is RG3 right now. And he stays out on the practice field for about an hour, hour and a half after practice every day. And was told by him that he goes through the full playbook every day, every rep, every read, everything in there. So I don't think so. I think they just feel like they've got a couple of young quarterbacks, and right now it's Kirk's time, and it's his job to lose. And he seems like he's responding well late in games. So, Robert still needs to put the work in, whether it's here or somewhere else. So, no, I don't think there was ever a thought of that. Really don't.
Well, Kirk Cousins, Kirk Cousins is not going to light the world on fire, but I'll say this. The Eagles game, and then when you turn around and the Bucs game, it's never been done in the history of the Washington Redskins being down that many points at home, too, and he leads them to really a historic win. I don't care if it's against Tampa Bay. You have to take it with a grain of salt. And the fact is, to me, it just seems like they're responding, and they believe in Kirk Cousins. And for what he lacks in talent, he makes up in heart, guts, feistiness. This is a huge game for the Washington Redskins against the Patriots. But how about the last several weeks? Tough loss against Atlanta, bad loss against the Jets, but you got the two big wins against the Eagles and the Bucs. What has impressed you the most about Kirk Cousins?
Just resiliency. I mean, he's shown that he'll make a gaffe. He'll make a what you say, a boneheaded play, but then he'll follow it up with some late game heroics, and that's just a sign of a guy that's just taking his time. One of the things that I've also noticed is that when he's given opportunities like in a 2-minute offense late in games where he doesn't have to think as much, it's almost like you've got to wing it, you've got to go. You see a little bit more things that he can do as far as some throws that he normally isn't, taking chances with in the game. Later in those drives, those 2-minute drills, he's actually making some throws. So I think Jay has kind of kept it close to the best with Kirk, because let's face it, there's no Deshaun Jackson. Jordan Reed had been in and out of the lineup. Trent Williams was, nicked up in practices. So they just haven't had a full ensemble of all their talent. And I think you're going to finally see that this Sunday. And I don't know what the results are going to be, but you're going to see Deshaun Jackson out there. Okay. You're going to see a healthy team.
Listen, a lot of the teams now, Washington getting healthy, the Eagles getting some linebackers back, the Giants are hopeful to possibly get Cruz and Beeson and maybe JPP and Prince. So it is the timing of this kind of ironic as you start the second half of the season in a division that has just been really a bunch of teams just underachievers. Let me get your thoughts on the Eagles right now and just kind of the national perception on the Philadelphia Eagles. And we've talked at great length regarding Sam Bradford and Chip Kelly, and a lot of people thought the Eagles. Some people thought that they were going to do something yesterday. You rarely see the trades in the NFL, but what's the national perception down there in DC on Sam Bradford and the Eagles right now as a whole?
Just a bad situation in Philly. They have more talent than their record obviously shows. I think Chip Kelly, can do some things well, but one thing about the NFL, and it's a proven fact, and obviously we witnessed this here in D.C., is that when you bring in an offense that no one's seen, it may work for a year. It may have some results for 2 years. But once these defensive coordinators who have been around the game a long time start to figure out some nuances and things that you like to do, and then to top it off, you may not have ideal talent running it, you're going to struggle. And I think what you see right now with Philadelphia is they don't have a deep presence on their team, a guy that was a home run hit. Sproles might be the most dynamic player on their roster as far as what he can do, but no offense to Darren Sproles, who's a great professional. We're not talking about a guy you're going to get a ball 30 times. No way. So you look at last year, and maybe they did get away with not having Deshaun from 2 years ago, but you had LaShawn McCoy, a home run threat guy when healthy. So now that you don't have him, you're really seeing that they don't have anyone on the outside. I do like the kid Aguilar. I think he has potential. But you're talking about replacing a Pro Bowl talent in Jackson and then a Pro Bowl back who's also one of the best, if not the best, pass-catching back out the backfield.
I will say this, though, and I respect your opinion in that regard. The receivers have just flat out. They have not – look, they haven't helped the quarterback as much as they should this year. Matthews is a good change of pace back. You know, I think the Macklin loss is actually bigger than the Jackson loss because Macklin's always proved to be that safety valve. Yeah, they should have signed him. They should have went and signed him, but we already know about the Deshaun issue. We've talked about that for the last several years with Deshaun. But you're right. They certainly missed that home run threat. You know, Dallas is Dallas. I want to get your opinion on the Dallas Cowboys. They gave Seattle a pretty tough game the other day, but it's amazing. I think somewhere the Dallas Cowboys think they're going to wake up and poof, the Magic Dragon's going to appear in the form of Tony Romo. He's going to be 100% healthy. I mean, you know, the fact that they sign Hardy, they want to give him a contract extension. Forget about talent alone. I think it's an absolute disgrace. And then you go ahead and you cut Randall. And a lot of people were clamoring yesterday when I was on the air. Look, the brutal truth is this. Running backs, you can get them anytime you want in the NFL. If Randall was playing like Murray, he doesn't get cut. If Randall's a defensive player and on the same talent level that Hardy is, he's not getting cut. But how are you Jerry Jones getting rid of Randall and you have a guy in Hardy that you're thinking about giving a contract extension to?
Yeah, you know, not to stir the pot, but, you know, I agree with you in what you're saying, and I also think that sometimes this outfit where I'm standing right now is guilty of the same thing, where it's maybe not about the production on the field, but about the eyes that watch what could be a train wreck, because that makes money for people. You know, it's ironic, and it just seems to me that the whole Greg Hardy thing is he's a great football player. We get this, but there's a lot to be desired personally, you know, with him, and he's proving that all over again. But they look at it like he could help their defense more so than what Randall could do for their offense. But I also think there's a little bit of, like, narcissism in it, too, where it's like, well, we're going to have people looking at what's going on. You know, whether it's good or bad, it's going to keep people looking at the Dallas Cowboys. And that's how some of these guys make money, ownership-wise. So,
of course. It's a good point. It's actually a pretty good take, and I don't think it's stirring the pot at all. I think it's a fascinating take because when you see an accident on the road, what do? You peek to the left and you slow down. Exactly. Last one before I let you get out of here. The Giants. I mean, my God, can you play some lousy defense? That set football back 50-something years. I mean, when you look at the Giants, you think of two things: running the football and playing defense. They were just a bunch of dogs out there on Sunday against the Saints. And conversely, the Saints have an awful defense too. But the only edge I give the Giants to possibly steal the division, even though they're half a game up, is because of the quarterback play. Other than that, if they can't get to the quarterback, if their secondary continues to struggle, they're not going to win a lot more football games to close out the year.
Well, something happened also in that game that I think needs to happen more for them, and that's, Rashard, the running back. I'm drawing
Rashard Jennings?
a blank here. Rashard Jennings. Rashard Jennings looked like the guy that we were seeing last year, and they need to run the ball more. And I think if he can come alive, it's going to keep their defense off the field. Let's be honest, because they're ball controlling people. You just can't have Eli, and Eli's playing very well, but you can't have them trying to get the shootouts with every team they play.
No, not at all.
Because it's exposing their weakness, which is their defense. So I think if their running game can come alive, and it looked like it showed signs last week, I actually think that the Giants are going to be in good position. If you would ask me right now who wins the division, I'm going to tell you it's the New York Giants. If you tell me, who could steal the division, I could tell you there's 4 teams that can steal it, and it would be a steal because 8-8's winning the division, which is ugly to say the least.
Got about 30 seconds before I let you get out of here. Who's playing at a higher level right now, Tom Brady or Andy Dalton? Now, just consider that for a moment before you answer it. When you look at the track record of Andy Dalton, but you also look at the age of Tom Brady and what he's been able to do, what quarterback's playing at a higher level?
I still go Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
I think Andy Dalton's having a great year, and I think that his name can start being mentioned as an MVP candidate.
Sure.
Cincinnati's not. Trust me when I tell you that is a different football team.
Yep.
They've got a little bit of nastiness.
Yep, mentally.
And they're running the ball. Yeah, and they're running the ball down people's throats.
Yeah.
So great cover corners. I mean, they have it all. But when you look at Brady, though, I mean, Deion Lewis is a guy that was cut by Cleveland. We knew he was a good player coming out of Pitt. But you're talking about when you get behind a legend and you get in that system, guys that may not be able to have great careers playing for another team are Hall of Fame talents playing for him in New England. It's still Tom Brady until somebody takes that trophy from him.
Listen, I can't argue that. And for some reason, when these players do get in that system, remember, Lewis was also drafted by the Eagles, too, back in 2011. So, it's amazing what happens when you put on that Patriot uniform. All right, my friend, enjoy the game on Sunday. Appreciate it. We'll talk next week.
Okay, take care.
All right, you got it. My pleasure. Lake Lewis always does a great job with SportsJourneyAbout.com.